Status effects are a very cool part of games. So far in my game, I've got Bleeding, Poison, Wither, and Bewitchment. For a while, my Frostbite mechanic has been kind of half-baked. Originally, basically all it did was force the character into a walk speed, rob them of their stamina, and then make their stamina recover a whole lot slower. And honestly, as it is, that's pretty cool, but I wanted to take it a step further. When I think of freezing somebody in a video game, I think of getting a free hit because the character who's frozen can no longer respond or do anything until they are unfrozen or hit while in the frozen stance. So I got to work on making just that. The first part of this process was pretty simple. All I did was basically make it so whatever the animation was doing when the character was frozen, pause at this specific point in the animation. And that was done just by basically calling the animator and setting the animation speed to 0. That already has a pretty cool effect because basically if somebody's in the middle of an attack animation or something, you freeze them and then wait for them to become unfrozen, they'll continue just as they were before they were frozen. So with that part done, we're already basically on the way. Now we need a way to actually create that ice effect on a character, and the first thing I did was just use some particle effects to make kind of like an icy smoke around the character when they were frozen. I did this with a lot of other status effects. I did something similar with Poison and Wither, but it's basically going to trace the body of the character or whatever models or renderers you have set as the body or bodies, and it will just emit this icy fog off of the character's torso or sometimes their entire body. And lastly, I wanted to actually make the entire character's body look like it was frozen. So the easiest way for me to do this, or this is the easiest way I thought of, if you can think of a better way, please let me know in the comments, was just basically applying an ice material to the character. But I need to store materials that the character previously had because a lot of my characters, especially the player, they have a custom material with custom properties set on that material. So for example, like my character has the skin color, the lip color, your hair color, sometimes your armor plate metal will be changed, and it's all stored in this one material. So what I did was basically just create a copy of each material on the character as it was before it was frozen, and save that in a list, and then apply this new frozen material to all of those other renderers. And then when the character becomes unfrozen, it simply reiterates through the list of renderers again, reapplying the original materials stored in the list. Of course, the last thing was to add some juice. This just means we make it feel nice by adding some sound effects, applying all the particles and materials together, and the end result looks like this. So I'm a big fan. I might tweak the effects a little bit more because it still is kind of in the early stages, but a couple notes on the freezing mechanic. I developed a spell called Blizzard, and yes, it is absolutely inspired by Diablo 2, but the spell was basically going to create a blizzard around the caster where they could walk around if they wanted to while casting it, and it would just apply frost buildup and a small amount of damage to everybody inside of the blizzard. Now currently the way the ice mechanic works is if you are frozen and you are hit a second after you are frozen, minimum, then you will become unfrozen. But I didn't want to do that for the Blizzard spell because I had a cool idea. So right now, the Blizzard spell only affects characters who are not frozen. But letting go of the Blizzard spell will cause the caster to smash their stave into the ground, letting off a Frost Nova, but only damaging anybody who is currently frozen. So the idea of the spell is you are vulnerable because you are forced to walk around, you can't run while casting it, but you are rewarded for fully freezing a target before letting go, because the Frost Nova will really only affect those targets who are already frozen. I'm a big fan of how it turned out. It is very fun to use. This also opens up a whole nother avenue now for different kinds of frost spells and weapons. I'm already started to make a couple new uniques all based around this mechanic. And that will be all from me for this one. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you to everybody who wishlisted the game, who likes the videos, who comments, who shares all the stuff around. And obviously a massive special shout out and thank you to my patrons. It is because of you the project and my tutorial series even exists at all. You have my sincerest gratitude. If you want to try the Nephilim demo or wishlist the project, check it out in the description below. I will see you guys next time.